So what words come to mind when you think of racism?
When I think of the word racism, I think of things like oppression, social injustice, color, separate but not equal, civil rights, white privilege, and inequality. Racism has been a problem all throughout the United States and the world. Today we will dive deeper into the different effects racism has caused.
For our cultural experience, we reached out to one of Katie's friends, Lauren, who is a member of St. Paul's African Methodist Episcopal Church in downtown Raleigh, and inquired about attending one of their services. She was thrilled to hear about what we were doing and strongly encouraged we attend a church service. While we did not gather much video footage from the service itself, we reflected on our experience even further and interviewed Lauren about her experience in her church community.
So tell me a little about y'all's time at St. Paul's AME Church.
So when we initially walked in, I think we all had different feelings and like assumptions going on in our heads, but when we walked in, everything was just, it was so welcoming. Like, even though there were only a few people there in the beginning, the atmosphere of the sanctuary was just so welcoming and comforting. The way that people would come up to us and say hey and ask us like who we were and how we were doing. It just felt like we were at home or with family. It felt very comforting.
Yeah, and the thing that was most noticeable for me was just the energy level of the churchgoers and the choir and the pastor. Personally, I went to church up until high school, and my experience was just kind of a pretty monotonous sermon. Everyone's very quiet, a very formal event, but my experience at St. Paul's was definitely a lot different in that regard.
Yeah, it was really interesting because during the service, they were like, are there any visitors here with us today? Will you please stand up? So we all stood up and they were like, oh, please tell us what your name is. So we were basically talking to the congregation, everybody would welcome us, and it just felt, it was a really good atmosphere, and even afterwards everybody would flock to us and be like, oh, what are you up to? Like, what major are you in? And what brings you here today? And we're really glad you're here. It was a really, really awesome experience.
I've been going to St. Paul since I was a little baby. I got baptized there.
Okay.
And yeah, I would just go every single Sunday for the most part. My family, I would sit with my grandma sometimes. And I remember being younger and just like sitting with her and like eating mints and candies out of her like purse, not really paying attention to the sermons and everything. But as I got older, I started paying attention more, of course. But yeah, it feels like home for sure. You don't feel alienated when you come.
Yeah, and I definitely felt that us walking in, I was definitely a little nervous because, you know, I grew up in this black and white world. That's how we were always taught growing up, like, oh, racism is here, it's black and white. Like you said, that's just the conversation. It's how the conversation always is. So walking in to a place where you become the minority, I think all of us were a little bit nervous, but everybody wanted to come up, they wanted to talk to us. Where are you from? What you doing? Like, did you have a good time at the service? Like, everybody made us feel so at home, and that's more than I can say of any other like place that I've been to, any other church that I've been to, that everybody wants to just like make you feel at home in their home. Mm-hmm. I loved it.
Yeah, they make an effort to make sure that you feel that way.
And I just love how excited everybody is.
Yeah.
To be there, especially at 8 o'clock in the morning, like everybody's so passionate.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
We thought it was interesting that like people come and they dress a lot more traditional. And for us to walk in, I'm pretty sure I wore these pants and boots and then like a sweater or something. And we're like, okay, we don't really know what the dress code's gonna be, and we just kind of like walked in like that, and we're like, well, I mean, like, I don't think it makes a difference what you're wearing in church, but like, just their outfits, I don't know, they're just so vibrant, colorful, and like, is that something that you would wear to church as well, or?
I usually dress up for church, yeah. I mean, I not today, but I usually dress up in general, but yeah, I usually dress up for church, for sure. Yeah. My mom would always say, put on your Sunday best, like make sure you have on a dress, and make sure that you're like just ready to like worship the Lord and stuff. But yeah, and when I was younger, she would always dress me in like these like frilly outfits, and they were so pretty, and like she would do my hair and everything.
The HBCU that we went to was Shaw University in downtown Raleigh. First, we walked through the campus and student union to get an idea of Shaw's atmosphere. When we were in the courtyard, a security guard introduced us to some of Shaw's student government representatives, Ryan and Bree. They were thrilled to be interviewed and told us their opinions on various racial matters, including intelligence and white privilege, which we compared to Lauren's ideas. These are their responses.
I would say that I've had times where I feel like my intelligence has been tested, not by anyone white though, by like I would say higher black people. I guess sometimes it's easy for them to assume that you come from a certain background and you're not like as smart as maybe they are because they come from something different or whatever. And I was just like, I had to check it. I'm here with you on the same level. But yeah, it has about been by anybody of a different race.
Yeah, I can agree with that. For me, I would have to say not really. I don't think so. Not really. When I walk in the room, or if I'm, like I have been to the governors mansion, I've had many opportunities. So when I walk in the room, I feel like people don't see. I mean, I don't feel people see race, but see what you do. But when I open my mouth and when I speak in these places, I don't feel like my intelligence has been questioned. Now I feel like I have to work extra harder, and I'm, so let's say if I go to NC State, because this is a private school, so the GPA requirements is way lower than what it is to get in NC State. So people from NC State, you guys, you're in high school, some of you might have had a 4.0, 5.0. A lot of students at Shaw University had a 2.0. And the 3.0, yeah. A lot of the students at Shaw University didn't have high 5.0 GPAs.
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely.
Like, does it happen more when you're younger, or does it happen more now?
I remember, I can recall an experience when I went to high school and I was in 10th grade, right? And I signed up for my first AP class. It was AP Human Geography. And it was the open house night. So me and my mom walked in and we were talking to the teacher, and his name was Mr. Dominguez, and it was like, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Lauren. I signed up for this class. And the first thing that he said to me was, well, he said, hi, nice to meet you, of course. But then after that, he didn't mention like the curriculum or like what the layout of the class was going to be like he did for the other students. The first thing that came out of his mouth was, now this is a hard class. Like, I didn't already know that. Like, it's
really?
AP. Like, I signed up for AP because I can take it, right? But I was like, why didn't he say that to anybody else?
Yeah.
So, like, we talked about that. My mom and I talked about that after leaving, and I was like, wow, dang. Like, that's...
Yeah, that kind of, like, definitely puts you down before you even started.
Yeah.
It's like, but
I mean, I got an A. That's hard.
Yeah.
I can give you two answers. Can I give you two answers?
Absolutely. Whatever you want, go on.
Alright. The yes answer would be, since race affects all of us, like it's a system that was put in place by, to divide and conquer historically. And so white is not you, technically, and black is not me, technically. Like, you could say, like, for instance, like, do you know, like, where your ancestors hail from?
For the most part, yeah. Eastern Europe.
Yeah. So, like, if we say, for instance, we didn't come to America, right? Mm-hmm. You wouldn't be white. You'd be Eastern European.
Right.
And, like, say, like, if I, for some like, didn't come to America, I would be, like, West African. Mm-hmm. I would be Ghanaian or something. And so, since it affects all of us, I would say yes, but also racism also plays into the concept of oppression. So, in that aspect, no, because historically, people of color have been oppressed by racism. So it affects us more so in a way.
I get that.
So if you, for example, I hope that this never happens, but like, if for some reason somebody comes up to me, a white person comes up to me and calls me the N-word, like, I would be affected by that, right? But like, if somebody comes up to you and says like, something like, oh, I don't want to say it, like, oh, like, white people can't dance or something.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, we'll just kind of like just kind of laugh.
oof, like, like, I mean,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, it'll still, like, it wouldn't be right, like, I don't advocate for that, but it doesn't have the same historical context, so I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Which isn't real, but I definitely feel like it is. For example, like, I know we all talk about police brutality, but let's say, you know, if somebody gets pulled over and they're white, then, you know, more than likely they'll get let go. If they're black, then they're going to jail, regardless if they have anything or not. Like, actually, recently, me and my friend was in the car, we got pulled over for no apparent reason at all. Didn't have any drugs, no, nothing. And police officers just being extra. And made us get out the car. We had to walk, you know, and mind you, we wasn't even drinking. Like, I don't even smoke. It was just a random stop for no reason, right outside of my apartment.
Yeah, like she said, me being here, I don't see it, and then me, the position I have, I'm all over, you know, the place, different rooms, different locations, so I haven't witnessed it. Well, I have, but I haven't. I do, like she said, the police brutality. I've had an encounter with the Raleigh Police Department where my window was broke in my car, so it was during the winter last year. It was very cold, so I always wore a hoodie when I drove. So I had a police officer, you know, follow me to the gas station. I was getting gas. When I got to the gas station, it was like 5 police cars already there. So I'm like, you know what I'm saying? But that's the only thing that I've, you know, experienced. And also this past election with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, when I went to go vote, yeah, my name wasn't in the system. So yeah, so that stuff is real.
I think so. Besides, you know, I feel like, okay, at this point, I feel like even if you're not racist, people, you do anything and it's like, oh, she's racist or oh, he's racist, and it just be like, maybe that's just your opinion on that certain thing. I personally don't feel like every white person is racist. I definitely don't feel like that. But I feel like a lot of times people try to stereotype, you know, all of white people. And I really hate that. I actually argue with people on Twitter about stuff like that. I'm the troll that argues on Twitter. But yeah, I honestly hate that. Like, let's say if something happened, I'm saying, again with police brutality, I don't know why that's on my mind. And then it's just, I hate all white cops. And it's like, well, he don't even know you. I really don't like that. I feel like, you know, back to what I was really originally trying to say, even if you don't do anything, people automatically assume that you are.
I think, like, for you going to that school where there were 4 of you, and like four black people going to school together for 8 or 9 years, like over that period, that's definitely got to teach you to be like, okay, well, whatever, we're all going to school here, we're all doing our thing. Like, and I think that's something I loved about you, meeting you in high school and meeting you through Leaders Club. Like, you're just so you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, I love you, and I was just like, okay, well, she's just doing her thing, like, I can do my thing too, right? Like,
aww,
I don't know, you were just always so you that I think it made other people want to just, like, do their own thing too.
You have to, yeah, that's something that you really have to learn, because, like, when you're the only one, like, you have to just do you, regardless of what other people think. And you learn that really, really early, when you're thrown into that so early.